Hey there, y'all. It's that Miss Moon, whatever y'all want to call me. And today we are doing, I guess, kind of a part 3, kind of a whole separate video, which is like redrawing some old art. While I was flipping through my old sketchbooks, I stumbled upon this drawing here. And since it's May, I decided, you know what? There's no better time like the present to do a mermaid drawing than now. So I went ahead and I got my ELO sketchbook out. I think this is my, what sketchbook is this? The 5th one? 6th one? Sketchbook 6, you know, smart. This was like a redraw of the original version that I just showed y'all. And then this was the second version that I did in 2021. So seeing these versions, now I'm wanting to see what changed. What can I do now? Right now, looking at this old one, I will say I like how ambitious I was, but I don't like the pose, how stationary it looks. I don't like this ship in the back. The water is cool, but like there's no atmosphere, and that's what I want to change up a little bit. So we're gonna work on the design. We're gonna use this prompt list. I still don't remember who made this prompt list, but I will put it up if I can find it. But if y'all want to tag along and do this yourselves, here you go. So we're gonna flip to a blank page and get started. All right, so we have our blank page. I got my Prismacolor Color Erase colored pencil, a kneaded eraser, and we're gonna see what I can come up with. Now, just so y'all know, I do have a Pinterest board that I just made, just so I can have some inspiration and reference for mermaids and what I wanna go for. First of all, let's start off with filling out the updated prompt. Based off of this, the hair, how you want your hair to look, and that for me would be just longer locks, because I love locks. Locks are like my go-to style. Before, when I did the original drawing, I wanted like curly loose hair, loose natural hair, but nah, locks are where it's at. The eyes are going to stay the same. It's the color of your favorite season, which is winter, and winter is notoriously known to be blue. Then the tail, that is the color of your shirt. It's like one of those pajama sets, and it's just black and white. And then the top is a random color. So I'll do this at the end. Extra, add bracelets. Well, it was based off of the Harry Potter house, but for me, since I'm Ravenclaw, it's just add bracelets. All right, so that is the prompt list, and that was probably a 5-minute video that I'm gonna have to export again. So let's see. Gosh, y'all do not know how long I was sitting there spinning that wheel, but I got V230, and that is this nice purple color. So along with black and white, I am going to be using this marker here. So this is the color that we are working with, along with CG07. This is the one I normally use whenever I want to color something black. And as you can see, all of my markers are dying. And now there's nothing to it but to actually get it thumbnailed. Let's just get the standard pose for a mermaid. Now my mermaid, she's gonna be thicker because your girl is a unit. Let's just say that. The tail, I'm not really sure. I'll just do the basic tail. And I'll just do a little cutoff. So let's make sure her belly is pronounced. We'll have the arms coming off, just so we can get an idea of everything that we have here. So the hair, I just know long locks, and since we're in water, I'm kind of thinking of like the Little Mermaid, how she had locks and they kind of just switched off at the ends. I don't know how long I want to do these, but I guess that's up to me. Yeah, 100% everything is, but I'll have, I guess, some coming off, just because I think that's cool. I also like when mermaids have like the extra little pieces coming off, like, you know, like the extra fins. I don't know if I want to do them like under the arms too. Like, I know this is getting convoluted to look at already, but you know, let's try to make it a little bit easier on y'all. Mine, her top is purple, so I don't think too many shells would work. I've seen an artist, Bonato. She does stars, usually for starfish, I guess. Would they have a belly button is the question. I also like when mermaids have like the weird ears, like features that are not just human. Let's give our mermaid a story. So we have like the color palette and everything. Well, 2 colors, but I kind of want this mermaid to be a little bit different in a way that she has like a job or something to do. Hey there, y'all. It's the voiceover moon coming to y'all. And let's just start by addressing the elephant in the room. Yes, I have not posted a video in over a month. I think it's been about 2 months, to be honest. I posted a video at the beginning of May and then just fell off. Life has been really lifing, and I've been really struggling to find the energy to post any videos. But I'm here today with some late footage that I meant to post in May during MERMAY, but it's here now. So I hope y'all appreciate it, or y'all at least enjoy the process of it all and how it turned out. Now, on to the actual mermaid that I'm going to be drawing. I was debating what kind of job I wanted her to have. I kind of wanted her to be an explorer. That's why I gave her this bag that I'm kind of drawing in a little bit. And ultimately, I think I ended up going with just some kind of mermaid that travels and explores and tries to learn as much about humans as she can. Please do not pay too much attention to this sketch. It's just my first preliminary sketch, and it looks almost nothing like this at the end. So yeah, this is starting to get me to that point where I'm like, hey, cut the cameras, the video's done. But let's continue to try. What should she be doing? Let's do another thumbnail. So we got a basic mermaid body. We've got another basic mermaid body. I want to try, since my tail is supposed to be black, right? Let's see about an octopus. Yes, this here. So once I came up with this octopus idea, I took it and ran with it. That is how our final mermaid is going to end up looking, because I determined that I didn't want the basic mermaid tail. It didn't really feel fitting for the color scheme, and I just wanted to do something interesting. Lately in my art, I've been really enjoying doing more angles than I do curves. And so with these tentacles, that was the perfect excuse for me to do a bunch of angles. And once I started doing this sketch, I knew it was over from there. I knew I was not doing a basic mermaid. While I definitely could have, and it would have come out still decent, I think adding the extra elements of the tentacles really just made it more visually interesting as a drawing. And I really don't think, like, once y'all see the finished version, I don't think it would have looked nearly as good as just a basic mermaid as it does with all these tentacles that are able to move independently of each other. There's so many questions and not a lot of answers. Like, maybe I should have figured some of this out beforehand, but that's not genuine. I wanted to take y'all along for the ride, for the process. Y'all didn't want to come along for the process? Y'all ain't here for the process, then I don't know what you're here. No, I'm joking. We'll have it coming out from here. Why the heck not? We'll have it going relatively straight until the end. I want it kind of curvy. This tentacle, what happened here? That's too long, unless we just extend all of them by a little. I really like how this looks. I'm not gonna lie. I like how drawing the tentacles, like the process of it, so fun. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Well, I'll say 9 out of 10 just because you got to figure out the logistics of them, and I'm not with trying to make my drawings look logistical. I don't want to make sense of it. That's crazy to say. I think I could still give her a bag. I just like the idea of mermaids carrying bags. And I always have a bag, so, you know, it's fitting. We make sure she has the bracelet. And I like the idea of a cuff. How would she get the cuff past that? So the cuff can't go too high up. Unless it is a cuff that goes not all the way around. Yeah. You know, yeah, we're finding solutions. Oh my gosh. I really love the idea of this kind of mermaid. I'm gonna take a blue pen and I'm gonna go over this. One of my coworkers gave it to me and I'm going to use it to cover this area because I don't feel like erasing what progress I had, but I also don't want to look at it. Simply, let's think about a setting for our mermaid. So, you know, you have the typical, like, sitting on a rock pose. You have the clam. With mine, I kind of want her to be, let's take some notes. And so, in the original, I had, like, a ship. So, maybe mine is, like, chilling in a sunken ship. Now, what a sunken ship looks like on the inside, you know, your girl does not know. So we're getting into the setting. This is where it's all starting to kind of come together. I don't normally draw backgrounds with a lot of my drawings, which is something I'm trying to get out of, especially with this sketchbook. I want things to have atmosphere, like I said at the beginning of the video. I want this to not just be like a solitary drawing that's sitting in the void. I want there to actually be something that the character can interact with. And so I'm really proud of myself for how this eventually turned out. Even this preliminary sketch, it didn't come out exactly looking like this, but I'm proud of myself for doing it, and I'm excited for y'all to see how it eventually turned out. We have our setting, right? I think I want to have like some skull imagery just to, you know, make it even more of the scary atmosphere, so you know that these aren't the nice happy-go-lucky mermaids you're used to. So let me go ahead and I'll do another box, bigger this time, so we can try to get a better idea of, you know, how I want her to fit in this space. And I'll also just, for the heck of it, draw some fish, because I have been loving drawing fish and I feel like she would not be completely alone. I just want them there to add atmosphere to the setting or the piece. I have the general idea down. I'm gonna get a better idea of the sketch here, and then I'm gonna bring y'all back through it and kind of talk through my process. Alrighty, so I did quite a bit of sketching off camera just to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. So I figured out kind of how the setting is gonna look, and then down here I have a closer up version. Like, I kind of want her to be sitting on the edge of this, so I want to kind of like zoom in. So she's sitting on the edge of the sunken ship in this dank, dark setting, but she's just reading something, maybe on seaweed paper, who knows, but it's blasting underwater. And yeah, there's gonna be different fish around her. I really want to highlight just the scary, spooky atmosphere, but also focus on her. So I don't know how much of the ship is actually gonna be seen, but I do also like how in this drawing you can see how the tentacles like kind of come down and they're a forefront. So I really want to highlight those. Next thing is to figure out her actual color palette, because we know the top is this purple color. We know that, but it's like, how does her top work? Like, what kind of top are we working with here? Is it just the typical bikini bra like I did with the last one with some netting coming off? Is it starfish? We know her tail is the black, so I did these just so I could see how the color is gonna work. You know, we would need the lighter color here, the lighter dark color, and then we need a darker dark color which I think BG9 would work. Oh shoot, that's dark. I mean, that's what I wanted. But dang. So say we do something like that. Wish I had made these a little bit different. There we go. That's spicing it up a little bit. Get it in the white if it actually shows up on this paper. I started out with the E220, but that's too light. Not that light skin. I think I use BR2 for all my skin colors. Once again, because Ohuhu used to sponsor me. I do like that though. It's giving Ursula with the purple. Dang it! Dang it, I didn't realize. But maybe I give a natural color. Maybe a dark blue to go along with the purple. Let's try PB9. That might be too dark. Spoiler alert, I do not go with this PB9 color. Frankly, it just doesn't look good. And then secondly, I do end up using this color for the water in the background eventually. So I'm glad that I tried it just so I knew what worked and what didn't. But nah. Maybe if I was doing a different kind of setting, maybe if it was just something other than what it is, it might have looked good. But for the time being, yeah, y'all don't get attached. And whenever you're doing any kind of finished piece of artwork, I would highly recommend doing some simple thumbnail drawings. Like you see these two drawings here that I'm coloring now. They are not high quality. They don't even look like anything like my sketches that I have. But it's cool to have them just because you can see how the colors will look next to each other, how they'll all look together. And it does make the process so much easier. I went so many years without doing thumbnails, and then I would get mad like, man, it doesn't look like how I want it to. They don't match and it doesn't look as good. But doing these thumbnails, I'm telling you, please, if you take anything from this video, please let it be that you should do thumbnails because they help immensely. So, full transparency, it's been weeks since I last looked at this, and now we are moving on to the progress and actually getting this finished. So as y'all can see, I did a little more over here, thumbnailing, and then I went ahead and sketched out my finished piece. Because as I was sketching, I went in and I added more and more little details until it became a full page. So this is what we ended up with and what I am going to be coloring today. I did some thumbnails as well. You can see how I got the pose and kind of getting how much of the ship I wanted to see. And then this is going to be for my final colors. But here we have some color thumbnails just to see what I want to do. We know I had to do like a darker tentacle because of my outfit that I was wearing, and then the color that I ended up picking, so those were non-negotiable. And then like the hair and skin, that's what I kind of played around with most. But we will see how this ends up. I got most of the colors that I will be using, but I think I'm going to end up picking up some more, so we shall see. But this is what we're working with, and I am going to just color this and chat, I guess. All right, now we're getting into the actual meat and potatoes of this video, where it pretty much turns into a speed paint as I go through the coloring process, and it sticks to mainly the preliminary sketch, but this turns out being a drawing that I'm super proud of. It's one of my favorites that I've ever made. I've never drawn anything like this. Even throughout the whole process of me coloring this piece, drawing this piece, sketching this piece, I was telling myself the whole time, like, wow, I have never drawn anything like this. And it's really a testament to how my art skills have improved over, the decade since I started. I think I started back in maybe about 2016, taking art a little bit seriously. So it's been almost a decade. And to see how far I've come, even though my process or my progress has been slow, it has been inconsistent, somehow I've made it this far, and I'm able to draw things that younger me could have never pictured in my life. All I've ever wanted to draw was people and my characters and these ideas that I've had for stories. And the fact that things are finally turning out and coming out how I'm picturing them in my head more closely is amazing. So anybody, I recommend anybody who is getting into art, if you're drawing, whether you be at a starter phase, an intermediate phase, an expert phase, keep drawing and you will eventually get to the point that you have always dreamed of. Like, really, I am a walking testament. If I can learn how to draw, y'all can learn how to draw, and that's just facts. The last videos that I posted on my channel should really prove that I did not start with talent. I was not born with talent. I just was so stubborn and I wanted to draw what was in my head so bad that despite all the challenges that come with art, I stuck through it and I got to this point. Sure, I could have taken different routes. I could have done things a more proper way, learned all my fundamentals before moving on, and I still got a long way to go. A long way to go. But everybody's art process is different. Everybody's journey is different, whether that be in art and in life. Like, we all go at our own pace, and this was mine. As y'all can see, I started out drawing just little stick figures, trying my best at drawing humans, drawing silhouettes, but eventually I upgraded and started making my own original characters, drawing other people's characters in my own style, until I eventually came up with something on my own that I could say I'm honestly proud of. It's not exactly where I want it to be, but it's further than I thought I could go because I did not give up and I kept pursuing art. I know I tend to get on my high horse when it comes to these voiceovers and this artistic process thing, but I really do believe it, and I really do want anybody, whether you be at a level lower than me or higher than me, just keep going, keep pursuing art, and I promise you, you will accomplish the goals that you have set for yourself. I'm telling you, and I'm telling myself. You know, I realize I haven't asked how y'all have been. It's been a while since I last talked to y'all, since I've seen y'all. So how have y'all been? Have y'all been keeping up with your own art process? Have y'all been watching a lot of other artists? Did y'all see that Drawing with Waffles posted another video? Another 2 videos? She may have posted more. I haven't seen in a while, but I was shook when I saw that she posted that video about her return. I'm like, wow, like she was a big inspiration as far as doing my thumbnails, how I go about doing my sketches before I do my final piece. Like really her videos shaped a lot of who I am as an artist. So I always appreciated her, and seeing her post those videos was super exciting. So I'm wondering how many of y'all have also been followers of Drawing with Waffles, and if y'all were just as excited as I was to see her post again for the first time in literal years. Like I knew something was going on with her and something was wrong, but it's like I thought maybe she just was taking a break, or I hope that it was a break and not something more serious. But to see it was as serious, and she was dealing with chronic pain, and she managed to get through all of that and wasn't drawing, but she finally started drawing again, is really inspiring. So I'm happy that she's doing well. And out of curiosity, have any of y'all grown up with Drawing with Waffles? Like I know it was Drawing with Waffles, Casey Golden, Lucid Nima, Cat Volk, I think that's how you say it. Those were a lot of artists that I watched a lot before I started my art process, or while I was going through my art process, and I watched their videos all the time. I also watched Zabio Arts when he was making videos. Who else did I watch? I didn't watch a lot of Ross Draws, but I was familiar with him. And there were plenty of other artists that I did watch that kind of helped me with kind of tutorials and learning specific aspects of the body and anatomy, which, you know, I still struggle with to this day, but they did help a lot compared to what I knew on my own. So I'm just curious to know what kind of YouTubers y'all watched as y'all were going through your art journey, or as you're interested in art. What kind of YouTubers do y'all recommend? I do follow a lot, and this whole account, like all the people I follow are all artists, because I want it specifically to be an art account. So if y'all have some artists that really inspired y'all, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm excited to find some new artists, to see what kind of pieces of their style that I can pick up and implement into my own, because that's really how you end up building your own style. Just picking up pieces of other artists that you enjoy and that you like, and taking those pieces, whether it be eyes, eyebrows, arms, anatomy, hair, however you draw it. Like, oh, also on Instagram, I've always followed this artist named Dialing Number 9. When I tell y'all that art is peak to me, I love their art style. I want to take it for my own. I want to eat it. I want to digest it into my entire being and morph into okay, I'm going a little bit too far, but I love their art, and so I'm really excited to hear what kind of artists y'all are into that made y'all kind of follow me and look into my art. And I'm curious how line art is gonna make this so much better. I'm scared to do line art on like the background. I'm excited for the character, but the background, like, this is making me so nervous. Like even coloring the water, and I don't want to think about it too much. I want to get her tail in. Now I think I've been holding off long enough, but I could also get a color for the paper. Like, what do we think? What do we think? Like paper underwater. WG. Let's do WG050 actually. Oh, speaking of, that's what I also wanted to mention now that I saw that last clip. My marker collection is dying. I've had these markers for years. Some of them I've had well over 5 years. Like the original Ohuhu colors before they even did the brush tip. Bruh, I need so many more alcohol marker colors, but I don't have the full collection, so I'm trying to use these that I have until the wheels fall off, but they are starting to fall off, y'all, and I don't know what to do. Like, maybe once I get super uber famous, they'll start sponsoring me and sending me some of their markers. Oh, Ardex. But as soon as I get those sponsorships, better believe I am going to be excited through the roof, because I need some new markers, y'all. It's not even a joke at this point. As far as the tentacles, I wanted to do CG07. And for those of y'all, it was this color. But this color is dying on me, as we can see. So I think it's gonna have to be CG5 because I don't want to go to 120. That's too dark, and that's probably what my main line art is gonna be. So next option is CG or GG5, I should say. BG9, I already used it, or no, I didn't. We'll see, but I need a darker color than GG5. So, anyways. Alrighty, so I've been holding off on the story of this mermaid long enough, and it really did take me a while I was going through the process of doing the sketches and even up to the final drawing. I did not know what I wanted her story to be. I didn't know what kind of mermaid I wanted her to be, but I think I've got it all figured out now, so I'm going to share that with y'all now. So this mermaid is more of the solitary, isolated type. She doesn't spend much time around her own kind. If she does, it's for very short periods just so she can trade and barter with them and get the things that she feels like she needs to continue her own exploration, because exploration is one of her main priorities. That's what she loves to do, and her topic of exploration and study is humans. She's always been curious about these humans that kind of look like them but also have these weird things that she figures out are called legs. So she's on the hunt to try to understand them and figure them out. The only thing is, she rarely finds any humans that are still alive. Most of the time when she finds them, they're dead, they're skeletons, and they're well decayed, which is what I depicted in this drawing here. She stumbled across a sunken ship that's probably been sunken for who knows how many years. And anytime she comes across these ships, she sees them as an opportunity to learn. It's pretty much like a history book for her. She goes on the hunt and through these sunken ships to find any kind of writings or memories that they've left behind. More often than not, she ends up finding treasures and jewels, but her real goal is always to find their writings. Now, when she does find these jewels, she does take them for her own collection because they don't have a use for them anymore, so why not? So she ends up going on the hunt for these writings, for these letters, and over time she hasn't really understood their language, but she's got a general idea of it so that she can kind of understand what their goals were and what they're doing out here in the middle of the ocean. She's incredibly interested in the stories of these skeletons that she's constantly finding all over the ocean floor. How did they create these vessels that could travel across the sea? How were they able to travel so deep under water when they don't have any fins, any gills? She's studying them and trying to figure out what makes them who they are, how they're different from mermaids, because she stumbled across skeletons of other mermaids and sirens, and none of them have looked exactly like the humans. So she wants to know how possibly their species are connected. And throughout reading these stories and starting to learn their languages and how they write, she's kind of piecing together what makes them them and just getting to know their stories, what led them to their final resting place. And in this drawing, I kind of made it to where you can see that one skeleton to the left in the ship, and then you see in the middle window next to her bottom tentacles, she's holding a ring on the end of one of her tentacles. And then eventually you'll see on the paper it shows the last will and testament. So I'm thinking that maybe this human that she found was a sailor and he had maybe a family, a wife back home, and he ultimately, of course, did not make it back to them. So she's carrying along their stories, their values, their lives in herself so that they don't go fully forgotten. In a way, she's kind of like a historian. Y'all know how Ariel had that cave full of human items where she would collect statues and forks and silverware and stuff like that? I feel like this mermaid is similar to her in that way, where she collects things from humans, but instead of it being more of those like big bulky items, she collects stories, she collects papers, anything that she sees that has writing from them, she collects it because she's trying to piece together the ultimate or fullest story that she can for the humans. Maybe like in their culture, humans are a folk tale, or they have different stories that they create based off of imagination because they're not really sure where these beings came from. So she made it her life's mission to figure out what they're doing, how did they end up in the ocean, what did they do up on land in the space where they're not allowed. She wants to piece together this story so that she can share on their history and their knowledge of humans to other mermaids so that they can understand them and possibly one day even create a future where humans and mermaids aren't these mysterious beings. They aren't fully unaware of each other and they can go on learning from each other. So I feel like her role in mermaid society is less of an explorer and more of a storyteller. Of course, she does have to explore to end up finding these stories, but I feel like she is at this time able to piece together most of the history of humans, and she kind of ties it together to make stories so that the younger generation builds this curiosity and builds this a desire to learn about where the humans came from, so that all her efforts aren't just on herself or aren't in vain. She wants to make sure that future generations can also learn about where these people came from and eventually solve the mystery that she has not been able to solve herself. So we missed one of my favorite parts, which was adding the leaves in the background. That freaking sucks. And then I started doing just a little touch-ups all around. I think we're about ready for the line art. I'll handle the jewelry as I do the line art because I do not know what I'm doing with that. But let's get a final close-up of all the marker. I might go back in after I do the line art, but that is to be determined. I really like it so far. I am not gonna lie. And I guess I'll put up my markers and then we'll get into the line art. Oop, well, there's one. All right, now here's where I want to get into another topic that I've been struggling with in all the videos that I posted thus far. Actually making sure that y'all are able to see what I'm doing. Now with this section, I did have to cut out a lot more than I expected because you could not see past my hand, bro. Like even now, you couldn't see me drawing any of the bracelets. You couldn't see me doing any of the line art for the hand. Only when I briefly pull away are you able to see exactly what I'm doing. Most of the face I had to cut out because my hand was blocking it all. And I'm realizing like the smaller of an area that I'm doing line art for or coloring or drawing, you cannot see it. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna have to eventually, sometime really soon in the near future, change up some of the angles that I'm doing with my drawing process. It's really difficult because I'm just using my phone and I have a singular tripod that is overhead. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to be able to get these close up and interesting angles that would better or make it better for y'all to be able to see what I'm doing. But I will try in the future. So for now, please bear with me. I am working on it. I do know it's an issue, but I'm just not exactly sure how to solve it with the materials that I have. So in the future, you know, I'm gonna have the multiple angles. It's gonna be dynamic. It's gonna be cool for y'all to see. Y'all will see every part of the process, especially in this draw with me format where I don't want to cut too much out. So, but you know, for the time being, Please bear with me. This is something that I am aware of and I am working on fixing. But if y'all have any tips or ideas that can help me while I struggle through this process, that would be very much appreciated. Y'all can leave it in the comments. If y'all are art YouTubers or YouTubers in general, how y'all handle getting different angles with a single camera, single tripod setup, I really would love to know, because some videos are not cutting it. They say use what you have, but what I have is not enough. So please help your girl out. Is she really sitting on this, or is she kind of like right in front of it? It's kind of like she right in front of it, bro. I'm gonna be so honest, I was working on this video super late at night, so that clip y'all just heard, I was extremely tired, I was exhausted, and that's why I sound like that. Anyways, this was where I was getting to a point where I was excited for the final product. Like, the marker itself was turning out good, but the moment I started doing line art on her face, on her bra, on the locks, I was like, yeah, this is gonna look so good once all the line art was done. And then for a period, I was debating like mainly just doing her in line art and leaving the background blurry and out of focus because I wasn't too confident in it. But I'm so glad that I ended up giving line art, even if it was scratchy and all over the place. I'm glad I did line art all over the entire drawing, because it really did tie everything together and just make everything come into focus. The one gripe I do have about this drawing is the highlight on the locks. Y'all can't really see it right now, but I don't know if I did them a little too bright. I know I do like doing something brighter as far as the highlight, but this one I think I could have went a tad bit darker, because now I'm starting to think it looks like she has cuffs or gold bands around her locks when that wasn't what I was going for. So maybe that's something I would change in the future. Also, I don't know if y'all noticed, there is no fish in this drawing. I sketched out those fish in the beginning, anticipating that I would draw them all around her, make them look curious in what she was doing, but that did not happen. I just got into the flow of it and got to drawing the ship, and then got to drawing her tentacles and everything, and it really just slipped my mind. I did end up drawing some fish in the background, but they're not nearly as detailed as what I was drawing in the sketching process. So y'all let me know if that would have been cool or not. We always have another chance to try it again, but yeah, just had to point that out. We're on the, I don't even know how many session of filming I'm on, but here we are. Here's the progress. I haven't colored the jewelry for real, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, so I just got some white and we'll see what happens. Bruh, all my energy is gone. Like, I sound so tired, bruh. It was the truth. It was real. Like, I'm so sorry. This is why voiceovers are goated. They are an important part of the process. They allow you to, you know, focus on your words instead of trying to multitask and focus on drawing while speaking words. Because throughout this whole process, I was speaking, I was trying to talk, I was trying to make it interesting and more of like a draw with me so y'all can understand how my thoughts were in the exact moment. But I could not keep that up. The later it got, the more sessions I had to film, the more times I had to pause and film and pause and drawing, to then upload the video to my computer, to then add it to this project and then go back to it, delete the footage. Y'all don't know, it's always such a hurdle to get these done. And today, like after that long break I had, it was really hitting me how exhausting this process was. But we got it done. I pushed through, I persevered, and y'all are seeing this video months late. Who says it has to be only MERMAY? We could have June journeys, June jump backs, you know? It doesn't always have to be done in May. That's why I'm still posting this video regardless of it not being the correct month, the correct theme, the correct timing, whatever, who cares? Everybody loves, or a lot of people love mermaids, I'll say. So there's never a specific time you have to draw a mermaid. I just so happen to, in June, want to draw a mermaid. So if y'all like it, you like it. If you don't, cool. You know, I was not about to waste any footage. Nothing goes to waste here. All right, y'all, so we are coming to the end of this video. I'm giving y'all a final close-up of the finished drawing that I completed for MERMAY. It was a redraw of a drawing that I started back in 2019, and I can honestly say I am so proud of myself for what I ended up accomplishing. It's like nothing I've ever drawn before. And you know, we started out with these sketches and then I ended up with this final drawing over here on the right. I'm just showing y'all the colors just in case y'all want to know, and so y'all can see what I did for the final drawing. As far as future plans, I will be participating in Art Fight this year. It's a drawing challenge that goes on for the entire month of July, so it starts in a couple days. I'm going to be working on my references of my original characters non-stop, and y'all will be seeing me post on Instagram a lot more, and I will be posting a YouTube video of the process. I hope your day has been going well. If it's not, I hope it gets so much better. But thank you for watching, and have a great day. Bye!